themes and topics I try to pass on to my students. Disney could be a great vehicle to anchor the subjects I teach. After arriving back in Indiana, I began my immersion in all the literature I could find on Disney. I read every book and watched every video I could acquire on Disney the man and Disney the company. After finishing Bob Thomas's popular book, Walt Disney, an American Original, and Neil Gabler's masterful biography, Walt Disney, The Triumph of the American Imagination, I came to the conclusion that if you understood what made Disney successful, you would have the key knowledge needed to achieve the dreams in your own life. I continued to read books on the history of the Walt Disney Studios and theme parks. The more I read, the more I found confirmation that Disney would be perfect for my teaching purposes. There's perhaps no better company for teaching entrepreneurial principles. Once you begin to study Disney, you discover that it's much like peeling an onion, as one story about Walt Disney might lead to another story about Henry Ford, or to another story about Ray Kroc, or to another about Robert Moses. Even more so, stories about today's Walt Disney Company might bring in iconic characters like Steve Jobs or George Lucas. It seemed that where goes Walt Disney, so goes American history in the 20th and 21st centuries. I began to work these stories about Disney into my classroom lectures and corporate talks, and found that audiences enthusiastically responded to the messages. Students, managers, and entrepreneurs would stay long after my presentations to share their own thoughts about Disney with me. Finding people so excited about a subject matter did not happen before, but more importantly, it seemed my audiences better understood the principles I was trying to teach when I wrapped them around Disney stories. It became clear to me that I had discovered a gold mine of inspiration and lessons which needed more mining. Now it was time to go a step further than books and videos and immerse myself more fully in the Disney universe. Over the next year, I took 4 trips to Disneyland and Walt Disney World to better understand firsthand how Disney provides memorable and satisfying experiences for its customers. On each trip, I took notes on how Disney delivered its services and products to me, and I placed special attention on the elements that separated it from other businesses. I visited rival theme parks for comparison, and each time I found ingredients of the Disney magic missing from the competition. Interestingly, this Disney lens wasn't limited to theme parks. It soon extended to the rest of my life. It became my reference point for deciding whether I was receiving good service on an airline, for example, or whether a restaurant's theming was coherent and interesting. Whenever I found something missing or poorly done, I would immediately ask myself, how would Disney have done this instead? It then influenced the way I interacted with others in my job. Instead of telling a visitor on campus where they needed to go for help, I walked them to the office they needed. I picked up litter when I saw it on a pathway, just as I saw managers at the park doing during their rounds. I thought about how I could improve the student experience in my classes. How could I remove any frustrations from students taking my courses? How could I make the material flow in a smoother and more continuous fashion so they gradually absorbed what I was trying to teach them at a deeper level? How could I make the classes more memorable? Applying the Disney methodology worked in my classes. I redesigned my classes around the idea of what I would like if I were taking it. What would I appreciate? What outcomes would demonstrate that the class was providing the value I sought? I even ran focus groups with professionals, asking them what outcomes they would want from a graduate program in entrepreneurship. I then designed my classes with those keys in mind. As a result, the classes have become a better experience for both the students and me. Enrollment increased in my class sections, and I consistently score near perfect on student evaluations. But more importantly, more of my graduate students are starting businesses than ever before. After my immersion in the Disney literature and my anthropological trips to the parks, I was fortunate to make some friendships with executives from the company. These corporate entrepreneurs were very helpful.